Abe, Cast Iron Brains, a podcast that was 12 years old in 1995, the last time the Atlanta Braves won the World Series. By some strange coincidence, I have long held that 12 years old is the perfect age for a person's favorite baseball team to win the World Series. Because at 12 years old, it is still permissible and still possible to believe in magic, to believe that there is such a thing as the right side, and that the right side won. To believe that being good enough, trying hard enough, and most importantly, believing truly enough can will a team into a championship. To believe that a single swing can carry with it some measure of justice, can somehow itself be righteous and good, and can deliver on a promise made to a city, to a state, to a disparate group of people spread across the country, united by their fandom, can make good on a promise made to a 12-year-old boy when he was only 5 or 6 years old, watching from 1,000 miles away. The promise that if you believe, it can be so. A promise of hope and of possibility. A promise that invents faith, invents it right there in the heart, that lights that little flame and closes the door, and promises to come back for it one day, that if you keep the flame burning, you will someday be rewarded. But of course, it's just a game. Promises don't matter. Wanting it doesn't matter. A game of seemingly arbitrary bounces and random luck. A game subject to the capricious whims of fallible men, their faulty judgment, their punishing subjectivity. There's no magic here. Just the same elemental, physical, deterministic rules that govern the rest of the universe. But when you're 12 years old, maybe you don't know yet that all that grasping for control is for nothing. You don't know yet that we are all floating on a vast ocean, subject to currents and forces that we can't possibly comprehend, that the will itself is a neat trick we play on ourselves, some sort of adaptive function of the brain to make the whole endeavor seem worthwhile, to give it meaning, to get you up in the morning, to give you some idea of you. At 12, you can still believe that winning the big one is a consequence of something more than a long line of dominoes knocked over by a random number generator started 1 billion years ago. And if there is some magic, the magic must be in the game itself, because 26 years later, the game can convince you that the very best players, if they believe it truly enough, can walk up to the plate and just decide to do what must be done. The game can revive the 12-year-old inside, can remind the adult that it wasn't always exit velocity and defensive positioning and endless strings of statistics and probabilities and metrics, that the magic is in the not knowing, that the magic is in the constant disappointment, the magic is in the punishment and suffering of losing over and over again, the magic is in the unkillable belief that the game brought to life in you, that no amount of failure can extinguish. That hope may be rarely rewarded here, but it's never wrong to protect it, to keep it alive, to keep it safe. Because even if it is a mechanistic world, random and predetermined all at once, sometimes the mechanism clicks into place in a way that feels right, that feels like the whole thing has been arranged just for you. If that happens all the time, all that winning can turn you into an insufferable little tyrant. But if it only shows up every 30 or 40 years, it just feels like magic. My name is Bob, sitting across the way from my good friend and co-host, that's Abe. How you doing tonight, Abe?
Doing well, Bob.
Yeah, here we are. Lori's here too. How you doing, Lori?
I'm good. Done with baseball.
How dare you? Today is Monday, November 15th, 2021.